What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Welcome to another episode of Recall. This is, I believe, the last episode for the regular season of Season 8. So kung ako sa inyo, lubos-lubusin nyo na to. Share the stream, like and follow Covenry for more content like this. And of course, introduce na natin ang ating mga guest ngayong araw na ito. By the way, nga pala si Leo, makasama natin today, none other than Renmar Santa Cruz. And of course, none other than the one and only Brigida. Kumusta? How you guys doing?
Hi, Coach!
Good! Doing good. Habang tumatagal yung takbo ng MPL, tumataas yung hairline ko, pero okay lang. Masaya naman ako sa buhay ko.
Pero
Di lang
meron
sa
namang
buhok.
tumutubong. May tumutubong pa ganun, no?
Yung sa Gedli lang, dyan lang.
Parang kasi Heihachi from Tekken. Brigida, how you doing? Kumusta ang Mojo Legends?
Okay naman po, Coach. Kaso, medyo galing tayo sa pagkatalo kanina sa ML Pero okay lang yun kasi punto number 1 pa rin.
Wait lang. Buti
Niremind
ka
ko
na
pa.
makalimutan. Oo nga eh. As soon as you remembered, alam ko, nag-buckle ka parang, dapat di ko na pinalala kay Coach. Okay, ganito Cypher, kung sino ka man, ang lupit mo mag-Benedetta. Sana mag-ibang hero ka na lang. Kasi ang lupit mo na mag-Benedetta, iwan mo muna yung hero na yun. Alright? Anyways, in today's show, we are going to be talking about quite a few things. But first, let's take a look at what our current standings look like. Isa na namang malupit na shake-up ang naganap nung week 6. That was last weekend. And of course, mga naganap doon, syempre, nagkaroon ng isang talo ang Blacklist International, courtesy of the second placer, Onic. And of course, next play, he was back in the top 3. Nahuli nilang nakita earlier in Season 8. And of course, nandyan na ang karambola ng S8 between RSG, Omega, and Echo. Tapos magkasama yung Bren and TNC doon sa gray area. It's a scary weekend for all teams below Next Play EVOS, honestly. Lahat pa yan pwedeng malaglag, lahat pa yan pwedeng mag-playoffs. We'll talk about how exactly later on. Ito yung mga topics natin, alright? There's a lot going on today. Last episode, again, of Season 8. Echo, muted. Ano nangyayari sa ating mga paboritong orca sa MPL Season 8? The code broken. Pag-usapan natin paano natalo ang Blacklist sa Onic. And of course, playoff permutations. Ayan, madaming nagtatanong sa chat natin, no? Paano mangyayari na makapasok ang mga favorite ninyong teams? And then, of course, power rankings and guest coin. Hindi na mawawala yan. Real quick, shoutouts muna tayo. No? Ang dami nating mga tropa peeps dito sa chat. The regulars and of course, maybe some new peeps. I think statistics say there are more non-followers who watch Recall. So guys, dito na kayo. Come join the dark side. I mean, come join us. Like and follow para parati kayong in the know. Alright? Say what's up to Ian, to Justin, to Hirandiel, to Excalibur, to Paolo Sevilla, to Aldre, to Jonathan, to Armel, to Cardo, parating nandyan, si Larry, si Nick, Matthew, Patrick Javier, si Sana All, and to Manok, Calgay. Ang dami, honestly, there's too many people here. What's up? Albert, excited yata sila eh. Brigida, did you tell all the Brigidanatics to come in?
Well, nag-live ako yesterday. Sinabi ko, punta kayo kasi yung talagang ang daming nagtatanong kasi and I'm sure na madi-discuss natin yun today dito. Sobrang dami kasing posts na umiikot talaga ngayon. Ang daming nagiging mathematician bigla kasi talagang inaanam nila kung makakapasok pa yung team nila na to or hindi. Kasi yung mga fans talaga parang ngayon sila natitense. And kahit tayong hindi naman wala naman masyadong pinapanigan, parang naiintriga talaga tayo para malaman ano bang kailangan para makapasok to or sino bang talagang alanganin. And yun guys ang ating malalaman later on dito. Kaya huwag kayong aalis talaga. Huwag na wag.
To be honest, minaf out na ng ating magiting na prod team dito sa Recall. So again, shoutouts to Tito JR, Mama's Boy, aka The Collector, and of course to Master Collector, and to Justin, Master Lord Hacks, and of course to Carrion Esports. Yan, and kay JM. They all figured this out already. So i-digest natin yan and i-share sa inyong lahat. Kung sino man ang inyong pinapanigan or favorite team dun sa slots 4 to 6. Tama ba? Tama, slots 4 to 6 or slots 4 to 8. Yan, malalaman nyo mamaya. Say what's up to JC Rezebek. Renmar, JC Rezebek is here.
Hey, JC, he said he's in Batangas right now, or as nice he would say, yeah, I'm in Batangas, bro, ala A.
Alae, just wanted to drop in. Alae.
Miss you, nice you.
Anong pagkain sa Anong pagkain sa Batangas?
Lagi sinasabi ng dad ko kasi galing siya sa Batangas. Doon daw nag-originate yung lomi, or at least yung Filipino flavor ng lomi, kasi dinala yan ng mga Chinese settlers and then Batangas made it their own. Merong isang isda doon na na nakalimutan ko lang yung pangalan eh. Kung malala ko, sasabihin ko mamaya.
Sige, may tanong ako, kaano-ano ni Uomi si Lomi? Joke lang. Let's move on. Let's do the recap. Let's go. Week 6, day 1. Bring gonna tell us what happened. This is a day of sweeps.
Definitely. Alright, so week number 6, day 1. Matatawag ko talaga siyang day full of surprises. I mean, we always say na lagi tayong nakakakita ng surprises dito sa MPL Season 8, but this day was totally different. Okay, one, we see for the first time the Triple H coming in from NXP EVOS. And then we get to see once again the double tank setup na nga parang ang tagal na kasi nung huli natin siyang nakita. I think it was seasons before. And just when we thought that it wasn't going to work because Echo, they were definitely gaining control over the early game dito sa game number 1 against NXP EVOS. We were even seeing them spamming already the stickers and the recalls, pero just when they thought they had it, NXP EVOS, they got to turn things around. Nathan and Lunox, they were able to seal game number 1. And NXP, hanggang game number 2, nagpatuloy na talaga eh. Grabe na talaga yung napakita nila. Iba yung connection na naiambag ng roster na to between NXP. We definitely saw it during this series. And they were able to secure a beautiful sweep against Echo na kung tutuusin, ang ganda naman ng performance nila during the previous weeks, and if we were to compare them head to head, we would really assume that it would be Echo's game. But NXP, they would just definitely didn't fail to surprise us. And there you have it. TNC and RSG naman ang susunod nating nakitang series in this day. At I have no words. I mean, TNC, they just showed us how they were also willing to adjust. Binalik nila yung nag-work sa kanila, the original work, Oster Force, main 5, it was the comeback. And we saw kind of like lineups na medyo, kumbaga, old patch siya, na hindi completely nag-a-adjust or nag-a-adapt sa adjustments made in the current patch. But nonetheless, they were able to make it work, and we are just really seeing vintage work Oster Force and how dominant they were able to play in this series. Napakaganda ng performance ni Chu on that lane during game number 1, and Kosei, consistent performance on that Alice for both games. Eventually, just when we thought na RSG talaga napaka-promising, we knew how they performed for the past few weeks, but TNC coming back with this lineup, I'm just so amazed. I mean, grabe.
Yeah, that performance by TNC was one of the things that made me realize na sa Season 8, walang tunay na mahinang team. Talagang lahat yan may ibubuga. It's just, yung mga nananalo, yung mga nasa taas, they just are able to punish better, have a little better prep, and yeah, it's just sad na week 6 na lang nila nahanap na, kailangan pa natin ibalik yung dating lineup. Let's take a look at week 6, day 2 here. A little longer a day, I believe. Meron tayong mga 3-game series dito. Renmar, tell us about it.
Yeah, the day opened up with Brent versus TNC, and tinuloy pa ng TNC yung momentum nila from day number 1, taking out Bren Esports in game number 1 lang. Yung paborito kong part ng game number 1 para sa TNC is nilagay nila yung roam boot sa Selena, tas si Light technically nag-pause for Barats siya, pero siya pa rin yung main tank. Nilagyan na lang siya ng Avarice para mas mabilis pa siya makakuha ng tank items. And along with the rotations of 3 Martizi, Sobrang ganda ng galaw ng TNC. Nung game number 2 naman, it was the Carl Tizzy show on this Hayabusa. I love this play here kasi si Flap Tizzy nag-set up dito para kay Carl. He pulled the attention of TNC. And yeah, Carl Tizzy was just able to get the kills. Game number 3, much closer. In the beginning, nakita natin yung galaw ni Kose on his Alice, which in day number 1 kontra sa RSG was one of the main reasons why TNC did a really great job. But then near the end, things fell apart here. This was a great kick away na makita natin na gagawin ni Ribo para hindi maka-flowing blood si Kose paalis. At this point, maganda na yung farm ng son ni Carl Tizzy, so he was able to survive long. This probably goes down as one of my favorite series of the season, NXPE versus Blacklist. Game number 1 was a Blacklist International win. Classic Blacklist. NXPE though, pinakita yung glimpses ng kaya nila gawin sa series na to. But safe to say that it still looked like this was gonna be a good series to win for para sa Blacklist. Game number 2 though, next play EVOS. Nilabas nila ang Lancelot ni H2, Pakito ni Rene J, and Grok ni Yawi. Along with the Eve of Yelly Haze. Nag-set talaga sila ng tempo. They got all the turtles in the game. Great team fights. There's a glimpse of Yawi's great Grok play. And because of the presence of the Grok at saka yung mga timings niya with the barrier and the wild charge, nahirapan konti yung Blacklist. Game number 3 though, still very close. Blacklist had to come back from behind. NXP EVOS got this Lord. But after this moment, where Blacklist were still able to hold on, nakabawi sila onte-onte, they were able to turn the game around and eventually win the series. Honestly, still, again, one of my favorite series of the season. Panoorin nyo. And then for Omega versus Echo, man, wala pa tayo sa game 2, but you know what? Fine, I'll save it. Game number 1, that was some great play there by Omega. Of course, Chaknu as well, playing really well. Ryzen, debut niya in the jungle, getting the Lord Steel to change and win game number 1. Tas game number 2 naman, here, it's the Kelro show on the Nathan, but I think yung star doon ay si Renjo. Of course, yung unforgettable 4 versus 1 niya, holding the Lord para hindi makakuha ng Lord yung Echo. And Omega ends up winning the series 2-0.
Day 2 here showed us so many things. Parang ang daming revelation. The first match, it showed how Bren has a few more tricks up their sleeve, and it kind of exposed also TNC's parang mental constitution or their lack thereof. Parang after day 1, ang taas, di ba? Day 2, na-reverse sweep sila. Tapos day 3, you know what happens, right? Pero yung pangalawa, that second match, NXP EVOS versus Blacklist International, I'll tell you, Renmar, it's my current favorite of all time, Season 8. My current favorite series that I casted. Bar none. Man, yun yung legit tig 30 minutes yung laro, tapos nangihina ako. Promise, pwede tayo gumalaw. I think you were there too, right?
Yeah.
Who was the middle? Who was our middle? Rockhart.
I think Rockhart, yeah. Oh, si Rockhart.
Yeah. Yun. So, yun yung talaga like middle of the weekend pero all-star match siya. And of course, Omega Echo, yun yung debut ng OMG, yung mid-game version nila. Ridiculous. That was scary.
Yeah.
Pero sige, after a long day, day 2, itong last day, man, was super short. All sweeps. Renmar, walk us through.
Fast days ang day number 3, starting off with Onyx and Blacklist. And surprise, the code has been broken. Kudos here kay Coach Yeb and for the entire Onyx squad. The draft that they showed for game number 1 was great. Going into the last pick, hindi pa natin alam ano pipiliin nila kasi may chance pa nga sila mag-roam Selena nun eh. It would have been risky, definitely. But again, that element of surprise was still there. Eventually, the last pick was Bimo Sakai. And Bimo did a great job here along with Baloyski. Back-to-back games on the Selena. Pana for days ang nakuha niya. And Onyx just played really well. Blacklist, kudos to them. They played really well. Wise on the Barretts looked scary. Oheb as well, getting his Kimmy. And there were times where it looked like Blacklist would turn it around. But eventually it was Onyx to break the code 2-0. Bren vs Omega naman, this was surprising to say the least. I did not expect it to be, hindi naman siya sa one-sided, but sa game na to, akala nga namin lahat na magiging 3-game siya eh. It would have been hard to call, but Omega went away with it. Bren Esports though, they played a good game, but there's just something about Omega right now with Ryzen in. Baka nakakagulat lang yung flavor nila. Maybe teams, sanay lang sila nakalaban nila sa KLVJ, so maybe going up against Ryzen is new. That's a possibility there. Game number 2, nakita naman natin ang gold lane Aldous Nikelra, which he plays really well. Going up against Alice's Rebo, sila yung naging dead lane. Both of them just focused on farming up. And Kelra did a great job kasi early on, kahit wala pa nga siya masyadong items, wala pa masyadong stacks, nagko-commit na siya ng Chase Fate para makuha ng kill, para mas mabilisan pa yung farming niya. TNC versus NXPE, this was a heartbreaking loss for TNC again. They needed all the points they can get, but it was just gonna be Next Play Evos running away with it. And there's not much you can fault for the performance for Next Play Evos here, coming back to show that TNC, they were still, fighting hard. Nung game number 1, lahat ng turtles napunta nga sa kanila. But then in terms of being able to punish, outplay, shout out Stage 2 and his Nathan, NXP Evos did a better job. TNC, again, still fighting. Most of the objectives went to them, but it just ended up being as a trend so far in the later half of the season. Yung mga teams na nakaka-punish sa mid to late game team fights, skirmishes, get those late objectives, sila yung parang that's become a trend right now. Late game or mid to late game turnarounds kasi yung kalaban mo medyo nag-error sa team fights or sobrang galing nyo lang na outplay nyo sila sa team fights. That's how you win the game.
And lineup, of course. Game 1 for TNC was very clearly a mid-game spike. After that, there's very little they could have done, honestly. So, nung umabot siya ng past 20 minutes, writings on the wall. Pero ito yung series 2 dito, Omega versus Bren. I have a question for you, Brigida. Kung magiging kilala ka at magiging malakas ka sa MPL, pero ang number 1 talent mo ay magnakaw ng Lord, okay lang ba sa'yo?
I mean, pwede naman na kasi parang ang laking opportunity na agad nun para sa team ko kapag nakakakuha ako ng ganong klaseng, lalo pag sobrang dikit na or crucial na ng yung mga tipong laban na nagde-depend na lang sa Lord fights. Kasi kadalasan kapag high level ML, madalas umaabot sa ganong point So, sige, tsaka pro player is pro player. Why not?
Okay. That was just a theoretical question for you. But for Ryzen, I think he's enjoying the spotlight. Honestly, sobrang ganda ng pagka-slot in ng Omega sa kanya. In the absence of the King, they have a very reliable Lord Stealer. And solid siya. He's a consistent performer. So I think this weekend is gonna be a good time for Omega. Lalo na't naghahabol sila ng points para lang makasecure ng playoffs slot. That's our recap of Week 6 in MPL Philippines Season 8. Sa aming pagbabalik, we're gonna go ahead and dig deep into our topics. Again, we'll talk about Echo, what's going on. We'll talk about Onyx beating Blacklist. And of course, ang pinakaabangan ninyo, playoffs permutations. Paano nga ba makakapasok ang ating mga paboritong team sa MPL Season 8 playoffs? Magbabalik ang MPL Rico. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Alright, real quick, before we go ahead and end the show, I just wanted to come on and remind everyone that when we're watching the MPL or any broadcast for that matter na esports, let's all remain calm. And of course, remember na 2021 na guys, mag-level up na tayo. There's no room for homophobia, discrimination, racism, or any kind of hate in our community. Sama-sama tayo dito diba? Esports, atin to. We built this city, but also we built this community. So, yun lang. Do me a favor, do all of us a favor, and try to keep the comments civil, try to keep the comments relatively toxic free, and let's just enjoy, alright? On behalf of everyone making this possible, yun lang ang aking hinihingi, and we'll see you next time. Peace out. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving us a like and subscribe to the channel. You can find us on Facebook via the link in the description. Thanks.